Hello, my creative birds. Welcome back to another episode of Journal with a Cloud. Today is day 3 of the Junk Journal January. Today's prompt was upscaled. So going with that theme, I used a piece of old wallpaper and a page from an old book. And I'm also going to do some of my mixed media style on this page. I'm using some gel medium to glue the wallpaper and the lunch bag and the book page onto my paper. I like to do mixed media a lot. I just don't really film over here because it's kind of dark on this table where I don't have the light of the my window. So anyways, I'm using the gel medium as like a base because it kind of it's better to use to glue and use tape on than Mod Podge. I find it's kind of hard for it to stick when I use Mod Podge when I'm doing the journaling like this, and I have to use heat guns a lot when I do my mixed media. Gesso is another of my favorite when I do mixed media. It's like a white base. It's kind of I use it more for like a translucent. I know it's used a lot for when artists use it on your canvas. It kind of makes it more of a flat surface when you use it on your canvas. But I use it more of like a fun translucent white and lots of layers of wet and glue. So that's why I use a heat gun a lot when I do my mixed media. So that's what this is, just kind of the base of the page. I decided I wanted to throw in some mixed media with my junk journal today. And I can go on and on with layering, and when I do my mixed media, I just layer and layer until I get the right effect I like. But today I was just trying to just do a basic little bottom base to use for my page before I took it over to my other desk and started putting all my fun little embellishments and stuff on that. So if you guys were ever leave a comment below if you would like to see me actually do one of my mixed media pages and not just my junk journal pages, because I'm kind of interested to see if you guys would like to watch that process too. So going with the upcycle theme of the day, I have a bunch of vintage sewing patterns, and even though this is a copy of one of the covers of mine because I really have a hard time cutting them, the original ones. So even though it's not actually the original pattern that I'm upscaling, I'm using the image from it, and I did copy it on my printer to use for that, but it is from a vintage sewing pattern, and these are just some old scrap pieces of papers and books and stuff that I'm using. I love brown lunch bags. I use them all the time. I mean, they're cheap. You can get a bag of 100 for a couple bucks, and they're just a fun way to add to it. And then here's some old game pieces and money from games that I'm using, and just me trying to figure out how I'm layering and how I'm doing the page on here. So here I'm using a scrap from one of my vintage sheets I have. It was just a piece that I had been cutting off, and I kept scrap fabric pieces. So that was from a vintage sheet that I add to the little hole on the paper. And even though some of these embellishments are new store-bought, a lot of the stuff I have on here are from old games and old tickets and papers, and upscaling some of the stuff as much as I could try to upscale as much as I could on here to kind of make it go with the theme of the day. I love sticker letters, even though I always forget that I have a bunch of them, because I will either just write it or use a stamp, and I forget that I have thousands of letters for stickers that I use. So what I did is I have a big binder full of them, and I have them on the floor next to my desk, so I can always remember that I have stickers down there to use my stickers up, because I've been collecting them for years. I started scrapbooking when my kids were young. Probably 18 years ago I started scrapbooking. Well, my oldest is 20. About 18 years I started scrapbooking. So some of these stickers are probably that old. I just been collecting through all the years. So I'm trying to use some of my old stuff that I have that sits around. So I thought that my stickers on here was a good choice to use for today's page. And always remember that when you're junk journaling, it is a journal. So you can write in any direction, be creative with it. It's a creative journal. So just because there's a lined paper there that you can write on, it doesn't have to be used that exact way, because it is a junk creative art journal. So I always try to make sure that I do journal in it every page, because it is a journal after all. So just kind of think outside your box, think creative of how you would like to journal in your little junk journals. Well, I hope I inspired you to try different new things in your journals. just be creative, and there's no wrong way of creating. It's just as long as you're having fun, then you're doing it right. And thank you for watching my whole process. And like always, spread love, smiles, and sunshine. Thank you.